What do you see when you look at the screen? If you were to ask me, I would probably say that I see a green square in front of a purple one. And I would feel that that was right, even though, as soon as I say it, I know I have said two things that aren't true. I have said that I see a purple square, although it's obvious that the purple shape on the screen is not a square, and I've said that the green square is in front of it, although the image on the screen is perfectly flat and nothing is in front of anything else. My words are an explanation of what I see, masquerading as a description. The explanation, that I see two identical squares, one in front of the other, seems to work, so it feels true, even though I know it contains glaring factual errors. The explanation is simpler than an exact description would be. I would struggle to put into words the actual purple shape, and because it's simpler, it saves me energy. At some level, all pictures are an attempt to explain the appearance of the world. The most realistic and most abstract often rely on viewers inferring spatial relations that aren't physically present. Take this painting by Malevich from 1915, a collection of rectangles in 4 colours. Again, as soon as I say it, I know that I'm simplifying, that none of these shapes are exactly rectangular. In addition, I would say that one of the red rectangles goes behind the yellow at the top of the painting. It's possible to look at this part of the painting without thinking of in front of or behind, but it takes effort, and as soon as I stop consciously holding these concepts at bay, they return. Now, because it's difficult for me to look at the red and yellow rectangles without depth, I find that when I look at the arrangement of other rectangles, I can also infer depth. But interestingly, in this case, I can choose whether or not I see them arranged in depth. As an example of what I mean, look at the 3 grey rectangles. It's perfectly easy to see these as different shapes next to one another, as if Malevich had cut them out of paper and laid them on the canvas. However, I can also, if I choose, see them arranged perspectively where the smallest one is furthest away and the largest one closest to me. And once I've done this, I can also look at the relation between the blue, the red and the yellow rectangles in the same way. I'm not claiming that this was Malevich's intention, just that it's inevitable given the choice of shape and arrangement that Malevich has made. This matters because all pictures, even Malevich's arrangement of coloured rectangles, are an attempt to explain the appearance of the world. He's not depicting recognisable objects, but his painting explores some of the fundamental mechanisms we use when we look at the world. That said, the painting may also connect with the world in a less abstract way too. It's subtitled Airplane Flying, and Malevich was interested in aerial photography, which was in its infancy in 1915, but is nowadays so common as to have become unremarkable. 10 years after he made the painting, Malevich published a book, The Non-Objective World, where he set out the principles of his art. He included this photo of canals, bridges and warehouses in the book to demonstrate that there were ways of picturing the world that could jolt people out of their ordinary habits and so help make it possible to conceive of things differently, which is also what he wanted his paintings to do. Malevich doesn't make any connection between the photo and the painting, but it's not difficult, in a general way, to see the painting as a response to aerial photography. When you look at the painting in relation to aerial photography, the orientation changes. Instead of operating from the top of the picture to the bottom, as happens in pretty much all representational art, it operates from near to far, so that the white plane becomes the ground on which all these rectangles sit. Alternatively, you could look at the white plane as an absence of ground, a void within which the rectangles float. Whichever way, and there may well be more than two, the ordinary sense of gravity is transformed. Malevich's painting is more than a century old now, but the perceptual skills that are needed to tune into the painting's interests are still a feature of engagement with contemporary abstract art, like the huge collages of Bradford. These works also have a link to aerial views and maps, in this case a map of Los Angeles, so the sense of ground and gravity is similar to what we find in Malevich. The orange blobs here do not represent objects, but instead indicate the areas where the violence and destruction were most intense during the Watts riots of 1965. Bradford is not particularly interested in Malevich's philosophical theories of non-objectivity, but he is thinking about how we might depict things which are not objects and how important this is in representing the world in which we live. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe.